This will be a summation of the Ukraine war on February 16th, 2024. We're going to start with the most pressing information, and that is General Syrskyi has confirmed the active withdrawal of Ukrainian forces from Avdiivka. Rybar made a follow-up post and confirmed that the primary evacuation route is along the Durnoy Gully. Let me show you that on the map. So the gully is right here, and there is some geolocated footage right around here showing how the Ukrainians are using this as their active route for evacuation. So as we can see, there's looks to be a body right here, some knocked out vehicles. There appear to be leaving in small groups. Now the gully does provide a little bit of cover, as you can see. This looks to be the road leading towards the gully. And you can see the Russians have been peppering the route of escape, and they have a drone overhead with artillery shells, with mortars, artillery. And they're wisely, looks to be for the most part, just retreating in small groups. Cause imagine if you're bunched up, an FPV drone could take out your entire group. So they're wisely doing that. See a few vehicles going slowly. You can see the amount of craters side by side. Looks to be some more bodies. Here's a group that's a little bit too close together. They're bunched up too close together. I have not seen any FPV drone usage on the retreating forces yet from this part of the front, but I'm sure we're going to be getting that footage in the next few days. This is a very fluid situation. Obviously this occurred earlier in the day, and it appears they've been using this route for the past few days. And the Russians have probably had fire control over this area for the past few days as well. Some more knocked out vehicles. There's a little bit more haste. They just seem to be exhausted, and obviously they're not carrying any wounded with them. That would just slow them down even more. And in the Rybar post and some of his other postings, he confirms that there's still pockets of resistance in Avdiivka, that they're surrounded, that there's wounded left behind. So the situation is still very, very fluid, very active. There is Ukrainians that have been left behind. The number, how many, we don't know. Another point of attention that I want to bring up is the coke plant. We have footage of the Azov battalion in the basements of the coke plant, probably mixed in with other members of the Ukrainian armed forces. Throughout this video and other videos, you can hear fabs just dropping down on them. They're just huddled in the basement. There's nothing else they can do. They can't really stick their head out of the coke plant without, becoming possible casualties. So throughout the day, the past few days, past week really, we've seen non-stop glide bombs, especially focusing on the coke plant. I believe those have been a decisive factor in Russia's breakthrough. Those glide bombs act as a suppression tool. So imagine yourself in this plant, and glide bombs are just coming down nonstop. Well, you're not going to be on the surface. You're going to have to be huddled underground. So it's very reminiscent of Azovstal and Mariupol. But this time, instead of being completely surrounded, the Russians are suppressing them with glide bombs. So I think the glide bombs have been very instrumental. The advent of new kits, the testing of new kits. I think the Russians have come a long way in perfecting those kits, and they've had a profound effect on Avdiivka itself. I don't think the Ukrainians were expecting such a breakthrough along the north of the city, especially right by the plant. And the reason why the 3rd Brigade, the Azov Battalion, entered into this plant was to provide an anchor point to help cover for the withdrawal of Ukrainian forces. But as you can see, they're largely suppressed. And some Russian maps have, I'm going to butcher the name, but they're even on the outskirts or within Lastochkine, or at least further in the surrounding fields and tree lines of the village where the goalie leads to as the main retreat point. So the situation is just very, very bad for the Ukrainians overall. And there have been complaints that there's no secondary trenches that have been dug. We got footage, there's some footage of some trenches being dug around Avdiivka. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to manage to make this as sort of a secondary defense line around Berdichi, Simonivka, Avdiivka. I'm just not sure if that's even wise at this point, because there's been no secondary defensive trenches dug along these points. And you can see a bunch of people in the pro-Ukraine Austin community complaining about the lack of secondary fortifications, and some reports from Ukrainian soldiers and commanders as well that are very dissatisfied with the situation as a whole, how it's played out, the mistakes that have been made. But all in all, it's looking to be very good for the Russians. I'm sure by morning, within the day tomorrow, that the pocket will probably be fully closed. It could be fully closed right now, but the situation is just so fluid that mappers can't keep up. So once dawn breaks, I'm sure we're going to have a lot more information about how many soldiers are left in the pocket. And if there's any soldiers left in the pocket, I would imagine most of them will be in the 9th District. That would be the most advantageous point of defense. Although with all the Russian glide bombs and stuff, they're just going to be suppressed. They're not going to be sticking their heads out and fighting a very active defense. So that's my summation, and see you on the next one.